Hey you, internet family. I have a quick question for you folks today. So, do you think that we need a revolution? And before you answer, let me just share my thoughts, and please let me know yours in the comments. Instead of burying the lead, I'll cut to the chase here, and then I'll add some context after. Basically, I'm a very literal person. So when I hear the word revolution, my issue with it is that by definition, a revolution just means bringing things in a full circle. And what I find historically, what tends to happen is that oftentimes the revolutionaries have to do such heinous things to get to the top that they end up becoming those that they despise. All right. So rather than a revolution, I believe that we need an evolution. So again, to add some context, I believe that we are one of the few, if not only, species that has the ability to understand our role in creating the future, right? We're probably the only species that knows, hey, what we do now is going to affect the planet in 10, 20 years and beyond. Now, it seems like we often don't use this thinking, right? We're often very reactionary. Hey, you push me, I'm going to push you back kind of thing. But I think it's time to use our higher consciousness and step into an evolution. So again, to put it in context, I feel like I grew up in revolutionary circles. I was blessed to be surrounded by people who desired changing the world for the better, who cared about others. And again, directly, my family's worked with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Eleanor Roosevelt, Abby Hoffman, Stokely Carmichael, and on. My mom used to work at the United Nations. And again, I'm just saying all of this for context. We're definitely all connected. So, but again, so I look at revolutionary circles, and I was raised to have revolutionary ideals. I was raised to fight for the underdog, for the working class. I was raised to value human rights, women's rights, children's rights, animal rights, equal rights, all across the board. And again, I believe that we need an evolution. So now, it's also funny too that obviously, depending on where you are geographically and historically, revolutionary might mean vastly different things. I remember when I was a kid, studying martial arts, warrior arts. I used to get all these catalogs, weapons catalogs and military catalogs. And it was funny because I would see items listed as, memorabilia or merchandise that had the rebel flag on it. Now, again, as a youth, I was like, oh, rebel, I identify with that. I'm a rebel. And then I learned about the Confederacy, and I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. It's not exactly my ideals. Same thing, I look at the January 6th, attempted insurrection. And while I have understanding, I also feel like a lot of it is what I would call misguided angst. The folks that I am in solidarity with, they're fighting against oppression. They're fighting for human rights, their right to exist. Whereas I feel like a lot of the January 6th folks were basically protesting being held accountable. And a lot of it, again, was just misguided angst. So again, I think what we need is an evolution. Now, how do we achieve this? Again, I think it starts with having difficult discussions and doing the work, simply doing the work. Now, again, I say this from a position of privilege, right? Every time I say this, I can't be more clear. I'm never saying just roll over and get stepped on, right? I've talked about mercy before, and that's like a whole other discussion, but mercy basically has to come from a place of power, right? Or else you're just defenseless, right? When somebody's stepping on your neck and you say, oh, I'm showing you mercy, you're not showing mercy. You don't have a chance. But mercy is given when you say, hey, you know what? I have power to control the situation, and rather than express or react with hurt and hatred, I'm going to choose a higher road because I value life and I value a better world. So again, I wish it was as simple as let me just destroy my enemies. But the fact is that does not achieve my goal. My goal is preservation of life. My goal is creation. And we have to understand complexities, right? It's like somebody was hurt, they have a family. It's natural to want to retaliate, right? But the fact is, simply destroying somebody who opposes me just doesn't achieve my goal. I wish it was that simple at times, but it's simply not. So again, I'll leave it at that. I believe we need an evolution, not a revolution, or more than a revolution, I should say. And again, obviously easier said than done. There's a lot of work to do, but that's what I'm here for. So I open up the discussion. If you like this, please like the video. If you want to keep this discussion going, please subscribe and share and whatnot. And I welcome your thoughts. Love y'all.